Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I am Crossing Channel. In the recent months, there have been lots of discussions and even calls for a port of Animal Crossing New Leaf to come to the Nintendo Switch. It's no secret that Animal Crossing New Leaf is a big fan favorite, a game that is beloved by so many Animal Crossing fans, and many people have even gone back to play this entry in the series now that Animal Crossing New Horizons has stopped with updates. The question is though, how likely is it that we could see Animal Crossing New Leaf ported to the Nintendo Switch, and when exactly would this happen? Well, as it turns out, the answer is more likely than some might think. Since the Nintendo Switch released, we've actually seen quite a few different major 3DS titles get ported to the Switch. Now, mostly it has been Wii U ports, especially since the Wii U didn't do as well as Nintendo hoped, but we've definitely seen some significant 3DS games come to the Nintendo Switch as well. This, of course, includes Miitopia, which only came out last year. With games like this, a certain precedent seems to have been set by Nintendo now, and it's definitely possible for us to see lots of different 3DS games make their way to the Nintendo Switch. Of course, what 3DS game would be better to come to the Switch than Animal Crossing New Leaf? It is one of the absolute best-selling games on the 3DS, and of course New Horizons is one of the best-selling games of all time, so the popularity and sales potential is definitely there for Nintendo. Of course, porting a game from another console is much easier than developing an entirely new one. We have had lots of discussions lately about when we could see the next mainline Animal Crossing game, and that definitely could be a ways off. After all, developing a new Animal Crossing game can take many years, especially if they want to make it the best that it possibly can be. Even with an initial delay and a 7-year gap between the last game for New Horizons, many people still felt that upon release the game was unfinished and that there was a lot of content missing that they wanted to see. In fact, some people still feel like there's a lot of content missing in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Therefore, Nintendo really should be focusing on taking their time with the next Animal Crossing game to make it the absolute best version that we've seen yet. That's why porting in Animal Crossing New Leaf would honestly be a fantastic idea because it would help bridge the gap. There's a ton of players who started off with Animal Crossing New Horizons due to how successful it was, especially during the first lockdowns that we had, so it makes sense that a lot of people still haven't played Animal Crossing New Leaf, yet might really want to, and having it on the Nintendo Switch would give them the perfect opportunity to finally do so. After all, there is a ton of content in Animal Crossing New Leaf that we didn't get in New Horizons that I'm sure people would love to experience. That of course includes a ton of different characters that we still don't have a functional purpose for in Animal Crossing New Horizons. That includes stuff like the Nook's Cranny upgrades. For example, you could go all the way up to the Emporium where you could even see characters like Gracie with their own shops, something that isn't a thing in Animal Crossing New Horizons. We also can't forget about the famous Tortimer's Island where you could play online minigames or solo player minigames, and it was just so much fun and definitely something that is desperately missed from Animal Crossing New Horizons. So even though New Leaf did do pretty well on the 3DS, there's still a huge market of people that haven't played it, and honestly, I even believe people who did play it on the 3DS would still buy it for the Switch. I certainly would. Not to mention if it did have some likely improvements as well which weren't in the 3DS version, which I'm going to discuss after this quick break with a message from our sponsor. Before we continue, I wanted to say that this video is sponsored by Disney Emoji Blitz. You can download the game for free using my link in the video description. I'm also hosting a giveaway for a $25 Nintendo Switch eShop card, which you could even use to play Happy Home Paradise if you don't have it. Disney Emoji Blitz is unlike any other match-free game. Each emoji has its own unique power-ups and you control what to use, letting you strategize with each game that you play. I love the Mandalorian, so Mando is my favorite emoji, and he's just one of many to collect. You can also use the emojis that you collect in-game to text your friends, which is really cool. The game is also great for collectors, and if you enjoy collecting emojis, new ones are added every week and month. There's lots of different emojis with different categories like silver, gold, rainbow exclusive, and so many more that you'll really enjoy. Use my link down in the description to download the game. The link works as a creator code, so anything you spend within the game will help support me and the content that I make here. I'll also be hosting a giveaway on Instagram to reward you for playing the game. I'll be giving away a $25 Nintendo Switch eShop card. To enter, all you have to do is download the game using my link, get to level 20, screenshot that and send it to me on Instagram at Crossing Channel. If you've entered one of these giveaways in the past, you will need to get to level 25 as a new challenge. I'll choose the winners in a month from this video going live, and once again thank you to Disney Emoji Blitz for sponsoring. As I was mentioning, there are definitely some likely improvements which we would see in a deluxe or just ported version of New Leaf to the Nintendo Switch. For example, we most likely would see all of the new villages which were introduced in New Horizons come to New Leaf. After all, they did port them back to Pocket Camp, despite the fact that the style for villages was pretty different back in the days of Pocket Camp and New Leaf, so they easily could port these villages back to New Leaf just to give you a little bit of extra content. I really don't see them porting features like terraforming or furniture outdoors or any of the crazy quality of life updates that we got in New Horizons to New Leaf. However, it would definitely be nice if they added a few minor quality of life updates just to improve it. I don't imagine them undertaking any huge developmental work on a port. After all, they didn't really do it for Miitopia, yet they did add in some nice little extra mini features, which just helped make it a little bit different from the original version on the 3DS. Still, I think I speak for most people when I say that New Leaf had enough content in it that I really don't need stuff from New Horizons ported over as well. It could of course just be the version that we got on the 3DS with no additional features, just scaled up to look a bit better on the Nintendo Switch, and I think a lot of people would honestly be happy with that, especially the big market which I mentioned earlier that never got to play this game to begin with, yet might be struggling to get a 3DS or just can't justify buying a 3DS for one game that is now actually quite old. Now that we're in the era of ports coming to Nintendo Switch, I don't think they need to focus solely on just making the new game or coming out with spin-offs. I think it would be interesting to see ports of older Animal Crossing games, not even just New Leaf, but some of the ones that we had like the GameCube version, Wild World and City Folk as well. After all, Wild World was actually available on the Wii U. It wasn't exactly a port, but it was still playable on that console, which I think is something that a lot of people were happy about. So this is definitely something that Nintendo should think about. Maybe they could even do some kind of Animal Crossing collection like they did with the Mario Stars. After all, Animal Crossing has become an incredibly popular franchise for Nintendo now. After all, let's not forget, Nintendo is a business first, so making good business decisions to make them more money is definitely within their interests, and porting New Leaf would be a fairly easy undertaking for them that would result in a lot of sales, so it's definitely something that I think they will do in the coming years. If they don't port New Leaf, then I definitely think at the very least we will see Wild World on the Switch. After all, they've brought over lots of the virtual console games that they had on the Wii U, so I definitely will see them doing this at some point. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Could we see Animal Crossing New Leaf ported to the Nintendo Switch? And is this something that you would like to see? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know that you did, and don't forget to enter into my giveaway for Disney Emoji Blitz. The link is down in the description. I want to give a big thanks to these channel members for their continued support of me and what I do here on this channel. If you want to become a channel member, click the join button down below the video or the link in the description to learn more. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks like exclusive emojis, a badge by your name, access to our members only Discord and our members only podcast too.